Okay, so this is the second lesson about the transport system in plants. So in this lesson, we'll be talking about the second tissue involved in the transport mechanism, which is the phloem tissue. Okay? And as how we did and for xylem, okay, we are going to split the lesson into two. Okay, so first we'll be discussing about the function of the phloem tissue. Okay, and secondly, we'll be discussing about the components that are involved in forming a complete phloem tissue. Okay, now let's go to the function of phloem tissue. Now basically phloem has one major function, okay, which is to transport food. And you have to know that this food is actually in the form of glucose or sugar, as well as amino acid. And same like xylem, you have to know the direction of the transportation of these two substances. Now, so since glucose is actually a product of the photosynthesis, so the transport of food will be done from the leaves to rest of body parts. Okay, or you can also say that the function of phloem is to transport food in the form of glucose and amino acid downwards, because the leaves are always positioned on the upper part of the plant's body. Okay, now so that's it regarding the function of phloem. Now to avoid confusion, okay, about the whether phloem is actually transporting food or water and mineral salts, okay, so just look at the spelling of the phloem. Okay, it's PH, right? PH sounds like the letter F, so F stands for food. So this is how I told my students to avoid the confusion of telling me whether phloem is transporting food or something else. Okay, so phloem F, okay, food stands for food, right? Okay, now let's go to the components of the phloem. Okay, okay, the same like xylem. Okay, there are several components that build up the phloem tissue, but we will only be discussing about two components, yeah, of the phloem tissue, which is the sieve tubes. Okay, and if you still remember, xylem has one of its component by the name of sieve. Okay, the sieve plates, you still remember. So now for phloem we have sieve tubes. Okay, and then the second component is a cell known as companion cell. Okay, so these are the two major components that are directly involved in the transport system of the plants. Okay, so let's discuss one by one. Okay, let's go and discuss sieve tube first. Okay, now to explain about the sieve tubes, okay, let me draw a line here. Okay, so sieve tubes, okay, the important things that you need to know about sieve tubes, okay, are, okay, first you need to know that it has a thin layer of cytoplasm. Now, even though it has a thin layer of cytoplasm, okay, phloem does not have nucleus and vacuole. Okay, and I hope you know the reason for not having these two organelles or these two components, okay, because you want the tube to be hollow tube. Okay, but anyhow, phloem is not actually a dead tissue like xylem, okay, because phloem still has cytoplasm. So basically phloem is actually a living tissue. Okay, it's not a dead tissue. All right, okay, now and then the next thing you have to know about the sieve tubes, okay, is that it also doesn't have many of its organelles. Okay, so not like the normal plant cell, okay, where you can find a lot of organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so for these sieve tubes, it has lost many of its major organelles, okay, especially like nucleus and vacuole. Okay, you cannot find them; they are absent in sieve tubes. Okay, so another thing you need to know about sieve tubes, okay, because it is a tube, okay, it is not actually a continuous long tube from top to bottom, okay. There is a separation between the tubes, okay. So the separation is actually coming from a structure known as the sieve plates. So here we have again, okay, the sieve plates here, okay. So same like the xylem, the sieve plates also have those hollow parts, okay, in the center to allow the flow of substances in the tube, okay. All right, now okay, the last thing that I need you to know about the how sieve tubes work is they depend on the second structure, which is they depend on the companion cells. So in other words, the presence of the existence of companion cells is actually does a lot of help, to the function of sieve tubes, because without companion cells, the sieve tubes might be having problem in doing their role, in transporting the food, all right, now, so that's basically it, regarding the particulars or the things that you need to know about the sieve tubes. Okay, now let's go to the second and the last component, which is the companion cells. Okay, to explain about the companion cells, just look at the name of it, companion. So meaning it is like assisting company. You need company. You need someone like your mate, your dude, right? Your buddy. Okay, so same thing goes here. Companion cells is actually the cells that are found next to the sieve tubes. Okay, so you may find more than one companion cells attaching themselves to the sieve tubes. Okay, the next thing you need to know about companion cell is they have nucleus and most organelles. So this is totally different from the sieve tubes, which does not have any many organelles. But for companion cells, they still have their nucleus, they still have the cytoplasm, and they still have most of the organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, as well as ribosomes. Okay, and then another thing about companion cell is, what they do is they provide metabolic support for the sieve tube to transport the food substances along them. Okay, all right, now these are the particulars about the companion cell, and these are the particulars about the sieve tubes. Now I'm not done yet, because I would like to show you a diagram so that you have a clearer vision of how sieve tubes and companion cells look like in the phloem. So let's have a new page. Okay, here it is. The diagram that shows the two major components of phloem, which is the sieve tube. So this is the sieve tubes. So this whole thing is the sieve tubes, and here is the sieve plate. And where is the companion cell? This is the companion cell. So this is one companion cell, this is another companion cell. So you can see that the companion cells are attaching themselves next to the sieve tube. So why must the phloem has like nucleus, cytoplasm and stuff? Because since phloem is involved in transporting food substances, so what will happen is the flow or the transport of food by inside the phloem is actually done by two processes involved in moving substances in cells, which are diffusion and active transport. So since the movement involved diffusion and active transport, so the presence of cytoplasm actually helps a lot in diffusion and active transport to happen. And then plus the presence of companion cell here. So companion cell here, since it has a lot of mitochondria, so it can also provide energy or ATP to the phloem to be so that the phloem can do active transport and in moving food substances from lower concentration to higher concentration. So that's about it regarding the diagram and also the structure of the phloem. So this is basically a simple diagram. So if you see this anywhere in the exam papers or anything, okay, you should be able to identify this as the structure of the phloem. Okay, so two major parts here, okay, the sieve tubes as well as the companion cells. You should also be able to, you know, state, okay, to explain the functions of sieve tubes as well as companion cells. Okay, now before we end the lesson, I have one more thing that I need to highlight here, which is regarding one very popular experiment, which is the removing a ring, okay, along the bark, of the plant. Okay, you might still remember that, okay, when this is the stem, okay, so if you cut a ring, okay, at the outer part of the bark, okay, you will be left with this kind of stem, right? Okay, because this part is already missing, okay, because you have make a ring and that takes out the outer part of the bark. Okay, now what will happen to plant if this is being done to the plant? Okay, so what happened is, since phloem is actually located at the outer part of the stem, okay, so ringing of the bark is actually removing phloem out, yeah, from this section. So when phloem has been removed, what will happen is the food that's supposed to be transported, yeah, from the upper part of the plant, yeah, will get stuck here. Yeah, they will start to accumulate here, and thus after a few days, few weeks, yeah, this part starts to bulge, yeah, or starts to swell. Okay, and then if you leave this, yeah, for a few months, what will happen to the plant is it will die, because basically the food from the upper parts, okay, that contains the leaves, okay, cannot be transported to the lower part of the plant. So the cells here, okay, will not be receiving any food substances at all. So they cannot do their cells, you know, activities. Okay, and thus they will die. Okay, now to make this clearer, I have another diagram, okay, that can explain the position of the phloem, xylem, and one more tissue, which is cambium. Okay, now you still remember for dicot plants, okay, they have the vascular bundles, okay, and in the vascular bundle they have three different tissues, the xylem and the phloem, and the xylem and phloem are actually separated by the cambium tissue. Okay, now so let's have the diagram so that you can have a better, you know, visual effect. Okay, so here it is. So this is the cross section, of the dicot stem. You can see that this is the vascular bundle. Okay, and if we look at closely inside the vascular bundle, you can see that there are xylem in the inner part. So this is xylem inner part, and then the outer part is actually the phloem, and in between xylem and phloem you will find the cambium tissue. Okay, so if we enlarge it, it will look like this. So this is your xylem, you can see, okay, hollow tube. All right, and moving upwards because they are moving water and mineral salts from the roots. Okay, and these are the cambium tissues and cells. Okay, and this is basically your phloem tissue. So this is the outer part of the bark. So when you cut a ring at the outer part of the bark, okay, you are actually removing the whole phloem from this particular section. Okay, so once phloem has been removed, okay, so there will be a problem in the transportation of food substances. Okay, so thus you will get this the top area to be, you know, to bulge, and the bottom part will start to shrink, okay, because they are not receiving any food substances. Okay, all right, so I think that's about it regarding the lesson about phloem. Okay, so hopefully you can, you know, combine both xylem and phloem, and this is not a difficult lesson, but most students, they, you know, they kind of hate, topics about plants, but actually topics about plants are, you know, simple topics. Yeah, you just need to, like, you know, put more focus, okay, and try to understand what, you know, the content of the lesson is. Okay, so till next time, bye.